Ciel. Ciel, Shieru, is the seventh member of the burial agency of the Holy Church. Formerly an incarnation of Michael Roa Valdemjong, she goes undercover at Suya's high school, acting as Shikitano's senior. She is one of the 6 heroines of Tsukihime, a piece of Blue Glass Moon Tsukihime, the other side of Red Garden and the Tsukihime remake series. Birth name, Elysia, Eratia. A girl born in the French countryside to a baker's family. She lived happily, helping her father at his bakery and attending school. Due to a high degree of magical potential, she was born as Michael Roa Valdemjong's 17th incarnation. His 16th was destroyed by Arcuate Brunestad before he had a chance to find a family bloodline with both wealth and power. He could only fulfill the requirement that his next incarnation would have physical potential, so he was born into a normal family without any social standing. Her body instead had extremely high magical potential, which is the closest in power to his original body in all of his incarnations. Everything changed around her 12th birthday, when Roa finally began to manifest, causing her to become a vampire. She started to experience abnormal violent urges, but always kept them in check. She wanted to snap the necks of her friends for no reason, and the sight of a beggar on the road was so funny that she wanted to stab him with a knife. She tried her best to resist the impulses by locking herself away in her room. It was not the same as possession, as she equated the feelings to those normal small destructive passions that all humans possess solidified inside her mind. She knew something terrible would happen if she were to let them take over, so she tried not to see anyone or do anything to avoid hating anyone and bring about her feelings. It became too much to bear, so she shut herself into her room. Locking herself away was a large mistake because that gave time for her mind to grind away and finally surpass its limits. She became completely replaced with Roa after that point, but still felt his actions as her own. With only the thought of her thirstiness, she left her room for the first time in months, and brining smiles to her worried parents, as they rushed to welcome her, bit into their necks and sucked their blood. Roa greatly enjoyed the amount of power the body gave him. Due to her having no social standing, it took him time to take over, and it was difficult to do so without having people notice. Roa in Ciel's body took over her village, and eventually become a center figure of what would be called the French Incident. He committed various atrocities to the citizens as he enjoyed using a body with true power, but it was not as wild as previous times and without as much blood spilled. The will of the incarnation still comes from the body, so she still had some power over his actions. She took the townspeople she loved one by one, and she humiliated and mutilated their souls. She figured that she would go insane, but also figured that insanity would cause her to commit even more sins than before. She tried to minimize the damage in order to persevere and keep her sanity. It only took a month before she was in full control of them and playing with their lives however she wished. Her only solace was that it ended quickly. After the town was completely under Roa's control, he was inevitably hunted down by Arcuade. She found him on a night with a crimson moon, and he was killed after their fight. But after being defeated by Arcuade, Roa transferred to the next incarnation and the corpse taken by the Holy Church to Curia revived as Elysia, with her original personality without any of Roa's influence, while Roa moved on to his next incarnation, Shikitano. The girl, now immortal for as long as Roa is alive, discarded her name, was baptized as Ciel, and joined the church as a vampire hunter. In order to one day die as a human. She was personally recruited into the burial agency by the director of it, Narbarek. She became an executor at the age of only 13 due to her unique form of immortality and knowledge obtained from Roa. According to Noel, she once spent an entire year lurking in the sewer of a European city just to kill a single vampire. The vampire had the ability to monitor the entire city as if it was its own body, allowing it to monitor for any intruders, but had trouble locating people in the sewers due to how filthy they were. Ciel waited until she had an opportunity to attack it, managing to make the kill after the vampire had eliminated a group of other executors who were sent to kill it, then attacking it from below when it wasn't expecting it. Killing vampires is all she is good at, and all she has done for every single day since she joined the church. Ciel holds the 7th seat in the burial agency, along with the codename, Bao, Yumi. Before the events of Tsukihime, Ciel defeated and killed 3 of the 27 dead apostle ancestors, the 7th Inash, the 22nd Kromklay Petastructure and the 25th BZE. She currently possesses Inash, BZE and Kromklay's Idea blood, and utilizing them to facilitate unique magecraft. Noel is her pupil, who she had taken in as a student 5 years earlier after she had run afoul of a bishop. Sensing Roa's reincarnation, Ciel assigned herself alone to the town of Suya to punish him. She lives a double life, steadily getting rid of the constantly proliferating vampires by night, and infiltrating a school by day to investigate and observe her Roa body candidate, Shiki Tano, eldest son of the Tano family. Despite her suspicions about the assignment of her pupil Noel, she tries to use Shiki to seal and or destroy Roa, but things don't go as planned. Appearance. She looks about 16 to 18. In Melty Blood, type Lumina, Vlav Archangel mentions that she looks a lot like his 8th wife. Personality. She poses as upperclassman in Shiki's school but is actually a Holy Church executor who came to Suya after Roa. The people of the church call her by the pejorative name Quins. Although she explains their secrets to Shiki as he gets involved in the situation, the mystery woman doesn't tell him a thing about herself. She's lawful good, extroverted, timid, and active. Ciel has a generally quiet and caring personality. However, she's also nosy and curious, and can't leave lazy or depressed people alone. The character whose personality best fits the big sister archetype. She takes care of people and does anything they ask. She's satisfied with her class representative-like position, but things get different if she grows affectionate to the person she's helping. Her teasing can get mean-spirited. Maybe she just likes troubling her loved ones. However, that's all just the base Ciel. She uses a different persona as an executor, so she can become a cold-blooded machine to fulfill her objectives if necessary. Abilities. Ciel is a member of the Burial Agency, special executors meant for the slaying of dead apostles, as a failed saint that rivals a whole assembly of the Eighth Sacrament. She became an executor at the age of only 13 due to her unique form of immortality and knowledge obtained from Roa. Noel calls her a monster, who has a body more immortal than any vampire. Her body has extremely high physical and magical potential, allowing her to jump to and from the tops of lamp posts, leap from buildings and between rooftops, and carry a person at full sprint without breaking a sweat. Ciel is a master of disguise, being able to play both the parts of an upper high school student and an executor. All the more impressively, she can inherit differing personalities traits of each role distinctively. Combat. She can be called almighty in any weapon she uses. She has no true favorites, but guns are the only ones she likes overall. While preferring to utilize combat weapons like swords and guns, she is quite strong as a magus, as it is her actual nature, but she doesn't normally utilize it because of her dislike for resorting to Roa's knowledge. In type Lumina, Ciel uses a variety of martial arts moves, from kicks and punches to throws and jabs, along with her black keys. Ciel was taught swordplay by Bze, being his last disciple. Ciel's technique is superior to Vlav Archangel's, however, she loses their fight as a result of Vlav's principle continually eating into her. As powered Ciel, Kenzen Buso Shieru, her main attacks often use weaponry, in the style of blaze, blade, and break, and her heavy armament features both brute force and magical enhancements. Black Keys. Ciel's primary weapon as an executor are the Black Keys, one of the standard scriptural weapons of the Church created from pages of the Bible through magecraft. While seen as an archaic weapon inferior to modern firearms and more difficult to use than ashlocks by most executors, Ciel holds the Black Keys to be one of the most effective tools at her disposal, saying they belong among the conclusive weapons that Noi Seonator Grandfatima speaks of. She prefers the use of them due to their convenience, with her being able to create as many as she needs on the spot so long as she has the magical energy and carry them around wherever she wants. She also finds them convenient due to being easy to sneak them past airport and border security, and not requiring the heavy maintenance the 7th Holy Scripture does. They are also more useful during her duties rescuing the victims of vampire attacks, as she can hide them beneath her clothing as to not intimidate scared civilians in the way that carrying a large weapon like the 7th would. Ciel utilizes her Black Keys as a primary weapon in conjunction with the Burial Agency's secret martial arts technique known as the Iron Plate Effect, but also makes use of them as a channel for her magecraft, using them to demarcate the boundaries of her barriers and channel spells such as the cremation rite and interment rite into them in combat. She also shows the ability to both create and control large numbers of Black Keys telekinetically. During her fight with Noel, she manifests hundreds of them in midair and commands them to fall like rain in order to destroy the vampirized Noel's undead minions. Her degree of control over them is such that not one weapon missed its target. Torture Instrument, Virgin Pain. A conceptual device repurposed into an armor, it is modeled on an Iron Maiden WP, a torture instrument made for identifying witches. All those who wear the armor cannot take it off until the armor has affirmed whether they're a witch or not either, dying if it does declare them a witch or if they take off the armor early, but at the same time the wearer cannot die until the armor has finished affirming. Ciel can make great use of this armor as her curse will cause her to revive when she dies from the armor's affirmations, and also will revive her when she dies by removing the armor, thus allowing her to reuse it. At the same time, the armor itself would stop her dying from any attacks while it affirms whether she's a witch or not, minimizing the number of brief lapses between her dying and reviving. She used this armor in the battle against Vlav Archangel, the device preventing her from dying against his principles near absolute zero temperatures. Although she would have been able to survive against his principle in the end, the temperatures would constantly be killing her over and over again and preventing her from moving or fighting. Other equipment. Ciel's nun outfit that acts as her primary executor clothing, is an all-purpose, lightly armed armament, with incredible protective abilities. In comparison, the virgin pain she used against Vlav is for fights to the death. Magecraft. Ciel is extremely gifted at magecraft, having by sheer random chance mutated to be born with very powerful magic circuits. It is stated that if the average Magi's mana generation was 20, then Ciel's is 5,000. Ciel has over twice the amount of magical energy than Clock Tower's record holder McDonald Trembelio Elrod, even if his magical energy regeneration is unparalleled. She also has inherited a variety of spells from Roa's knowledge, such as his numerology, high-speed incantation, simplified repetitive incantation, suggestion, and necromancy. Due to her past with Roa, she refuses to use any of his magecraft unless absolutely necessary, such as when fighting against dead apostle ancestors or true ancestors, relying instead on the sacraments and weaponry she obtained from the church in normal fights. However, as Roa notes, because she has such incredibly high aptitude, she never learned the needs to be efficient and precise. As a result, her spells can be incredibly wasteful. She is highly skilled in the use of sacraments, having invented a spell known as Tower Ring, Tower of Imprisonment, in order to contain Arcuade. It is a powerful bounded field, similar in nature to those used by Noel, that is strong enough to temporarily restrain a dead apostle ancestor. It is conceptually based on the Holy Church's Strasbourg Cathedral WP that stood for centuries as the tallest building in the world. It was insufficient to hold back Arcuade, however, forcing Ciel to instead try and use Cromplay's Cathedral Idea Blood instead. During Dead Apostle Noel's arcade mode ending in Type Lumina, Ciel uses a baptism rite to finish her off. She can change her physical appearance, as seen when she takes the form of a different high school girl, and can change back to her original appearance by melting away her current appearance. Ciel is also capable of altering and erasing the memories of others, as seen when she takes away Shiki's memories of her. Noel explains that Ciel used her suggestion magecraft to trick Shiki and everyone at school. According to Noel, the amount of magical energy needed to constantly cast suggestion magecraft on as many people as she did at the school is so immense that only she could have done so. Idea Blood. During her fight with Arcuade, Ciel is revealed to be in possession of 3 Idea Bloods of the dead apostle ancestors she has killed, Bze, Inash, and Cromplay Petastructure, located in her chest, abdomen, and right hand respectively. She also acquired the Idea Blood of Vlav Archangel after killing him, but in order to replenish her magical energy she turned it into a magical energy reactor, at the cost of her humanity and strain upon her body. It only works for a short time. Vlav's Idea Blood is estimated to only last less than 3 minutes before it becomes exhausted. While powered by the Idea Blood, by chanting, Set, Code Galgalim, Ciel is able to complete a 10-count incantation spell repeatedly within a single breath. The result of that spell each time released bolts of lightning with 2 million volts. She can use one of them, Cromplay's Cathedral, to create a variant of the original's Idea Blood usage, though she cannot do the same with the other 3. In the case of Vlav's, it is because the foundation of his Idea Blood is not mature enough to create a greater magecraft from it, let alone weave a new one, instead using it as a magical energy reactor. However, she is able to work around Bze and Inash by using the Idea Bloods to initiate separate magecrafts that Ciel created. Calvaria Galgalim, Calvaria Star, an angelic wheel deployed in the stratosphere, blazing with focused sunlight. A reflector created with magecraft. The 50 kilometers long, 10 kilometers wide blade of light beaming towards the surface can be compared to an aurora possessing mass, or a guillotine of light. It is greater magecraft that Ciel came up with after defeating the ancestor who was her sword mentor. Apparently she uses his Idea Blood to initiate it. After firing at full power against Arcuade, the remaining magical energy was used to fire one last shot, and it was this move that turned the tables in the endgame. It takes 3 minutes to deploy, which is the spell's main disadvantage. However, in terms of mystery it is on the same level as Excalibur, though its usage is very different. Gothic Fort, Cathedral, a phase-transforming, isolation-type bounded field developed to contain rank 9 dead apostles. it originally belonged to the ancestor signifying kingdom, and was a wall with a 30 kilometers diameter that isolated everything it enclosed from the outside world. Compared to the original, Ciel's version is a conceptual barrier that can only contain a single instance or kind of object. On the other hand, it possesses a space distortion function that the original lacked, allowing the user to alter the size of the space within at will. Ciel states that depending on how you use it, it can become the greatest weapon. As this greater magecraft demands a special sort of magical energy to be used, it cannot easily be used repeatedly. Ciel is able to use it twice before she needs to replenish the restricted magical energy from the idea blood, which isn't easily done. Emissary of Heaven, Crucifixion Reverb. Leaves of Steel, Waves of Iron. Idea blood number 7, Forest of Inash. Blossom 4th, Altar of the Grove. Strike not a fatal blow, but keep our foe alive in never-ending pain. Ciel's incantation to activate Inash's idea blood. Ciel also has a greater magecraft spell derived from Inash's idea blood known as Bell Tower due to obtaining their idea blood after defeating them. The full functions of Bell Tower are unknown, but Ciel is able to use it to inflict never-ending pain upon an enemy. Immortality. Ciel possesses a unique form of immortality that has her live as long as Roa is alive. The reason Ciel originally revives after her body has been slain by Arcuate and been abandoned by Roa's soul has to do with her magical potential. Her body's power of regeneration is so exceptional that she will able to revive. After her body revived in such a fashion, the world, recognizing her soul as Roa, caused a contradiction to form. While she lived as a unique person for her first 12 years, she was a human born as Roa. She is herself, but she is also Roa because the name of her soul is Roa according to the world. She has gained a form of immortality due to the contradiction, always reverting her to her original state no matter the damage, whether it is lethal or not. She cannot age, so she cannot die of old age. Even if she is incinerated to ashes, time will reverse her to her original state. She is not able to die under any circumstance, meaning that she was able to be killed every moment of an entire month without a single negative consequence to her body. It is not healing or regeneration, but more like any wounds caused to her are rewound. After cutting her neck, blood sprays everywhere, but within a moment, the wound and all of the blood are gone, returned to how it was before as if being rewound like a video. Even pools of blood are instantly reverted, leaving no trace of having existed, and her heart will start to beat again even with a sword through her brain. The ability does not remove foreign objects impaling her, so she will still be trapped in place even if they cannot kill her. While it is useful in battle, it does not allow her to compete with Arcuate in direct combat. Though she cannot die, Arcuate can kill her repeatedly to keep her from retaliating.
If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.